Hey there, welcome back. Today, we're going to explore a deeply intriguing subject. What happens when a woman feels like you're no longer looking for her? Whether it's in a romantic relationship or in a general sense of interest and attention, stopping the pursuit of someone can have profound effects. It's not just about giving up on a relationship, it's about understanding human emotions, particularly how women react when they sense that the effort and attention they once received from someone begins to fade. Stay tuned as we dive deep into the psychology behind this, backed with science and real-world experience. You'll learn not only what happens when this shift occurs, but also the emotional processes that happen behind the scenes. So, let's get started. When you stop looking for her, or you stop giving her that constant attention, something interesting happens in the dynamic. Women, just like anyone else, thrive on connection. But for many women, this attention is often not just a superficial desire. It's deeply tied to their sense of value and self-worth. Psychologically, when a woman feels that attention waning, it can trigger a range of responses. The first thing we need to understand is the importance of validation. Validation is not about constant praise, but simply knowing that someone cares. It's the emotional acknowledgement of their existence. When this suddenly stops, it feels like a shift in reality. The brain notices the change and can go into defense mode. Attention, especially positive attention, is like an emotional anchor. It grounds people. When that anchor is pulled away, they can feel adrift. So what exactly does a woman feel when this attention fades? Let's break it down. The first thing that often comes up is confusion. Women may begin to wonder what they did wrong. They might replay the relationship or interaction in their head over and over, trying to pinpoint where things changed. The sudden lack of attention can lead to uncertainty and self-doubt. If the attention was consistent and now stops, it's natural to feel a sense of loss. The connection that was once there seems to fade, leaving a feeling of loneliness. It's almost like a subtle grief that can be difficult to pinpoint because it doesn't come with an obvious loss, but rather the absence of something that once existed. Anxiety can arise because when someone stops pursuing, women might start wondering if they are no longer good enough or if something about them has changed. There's an intense fear of rejection that surfaces as the brain starts to feel insecure in the absence of affection or attention. It's a primal feeling that stems from the desire for connection and belonging. This is one of the most prominent feelings. A lack of attention can lead to a diminished sense of self-worth. Without that external validation, a woman might start to question her own attractiveness, desirability, or even her ability to connect with others. When a woman feels neglected, her brain might actually respond as though she's experiencing physical pain. Studies have shown that the same area of the brain lights up when we feel emotional pain as when we feel physical pain. This is why emotional neglect can be so intense. Additionally, oxytocin, commonly known as the love hormone, plays a key role here. Oxytocin is released during moments of affection, whether it's physical touch, eye contact, or even simple verbal communication. When attention stops, so does the release of this bonding hormone, which can lead to emotional withdrawal and a sense of disconnection. Another critical hormone in this process is cortisol, the stress hormone. When someone feels ignored or emotionally neglected, cortisol levels spike, leading to heightened stress, anxiety, and even depression. So what do women actually do when they sense the loss of attention? Testing the waters. Many women will test the waters by subtly trying to get attention back. They might post something on social media, dress differently, or drop hints, hoping to reignite the interest they once felt. This is not a game, it's a way of seeking reassurance. Interestingly, some women may respond to this by retreating emotionally. If they sense the attention is no longer there, they may start distancing themselves. This isn't because they want to give up. It's often a defense mechanism. If someone's not looking for them, they don't want to keep investing emotionally and risk getting hurt. Now let's talk about emotional resilience, both for her and for you. When attention stops, it's easy to feel like the connection is lost forever. But in reality, women are incredibly resilient. They have a natural ability to process emotions, adapt, and bounce back. The key here is how both parties handle the situation. If she's been neglected or her attention is no longer being sought after, one of the most powerful things a woman can do is focus on self-empowerment. Self-care becomes essential in this process. She might start to take better care of herself, build stronger friendships, or even invest time in hobbies that she neglected. This helps her rebuild emotional strength, even if the relationship doesn't fully repair right away. But emotional resilience isn't just about bouncing back alone. It's also about the support she receives. A man, or anyone for that matter, can help foster this resilience by showing that they still care and by making an effort to understand her feelings. If that emotional support is there, it increases the chances of both individuals becoming stronger and more connected after the challenge. Emotional resilience isn't just about bouncing back from a difficult time. It's about learning from the experience and growing stronger in the process. Let's talk about a common fear women experience when attention fades: the fear of being forgotten. For many women, there's a deep-seated anxiety that if someone stops looking for them, they may eventually be erased from their life completely. This fear is linked to the idea of being invisible. When a woman feels neglected, it's not just about the attention, it's about feeling valued in her place in your life. The sudden absence of this focus can lead her to feel like she's losing her significance in your world. The fear of being forgotten may not always be conscious, but it definitely exists. This can trigger feelings of insecurity, and in some cases, even a fear of abandonment. Humans have an inherent desire to feel important and valued. When that sense of value is diminished, it can create emotional turbulence and a desire to seek reassurance from others. Let's take a deeper look at what emotional connection really means in relationships. Many women feel emotionally connected through consistent attention, small gestures, and meaningful conversations. If attention stops, that emotional connection can be severed, leading to disconnection. Without this emotional bond, a relationship can feel shallow, leaving both parties feeling unfulfilled. For women, emotional connection isn't just about romantic gestures. It's about feeling seen and heard in all aspects of life. It's the quiet moments, the shared experiences, and the deep conversations that really solidify a strong connection. When you stop looking for her, it can feel like the bridge between you is broken. If you want to build or maintain a strong emotional connection, you need to put effort into regular check-ins, open communication, and showing genuine care for her well-being. It's not about grand gestures, it's about consistent, thoughtful actions that show your investment in her emotionally. In today's world, technology plays a huge role in how we interact and form connections. Social media, texting, and dating apps have completely shifted how relationships unfold. But here's the twist. While technology makes communication faster and more accessible, it can also create distance in relationships. For example, you might stop looking for her in the traditional sense, but online you might be scrolling through social media or chatting with other people. The feeling of emotional neglect can arise when she senses that your attention has shifted elsewhere, even if it's not explicitly towards another person. The digital landscape can sometimes create an illusion of connection, but if there's a lack of genuine interest and attention, it becomes clear that something is missing. The irony is that while we are more connected than ever, emotional intimacy can sometimes take a back seat to superficial digital interactions. This can be especially hard for women who value deeper connections and find digital interactions lacking in emotional depth. To preserve a strong relationship in the digital age, ensure that your offline interactions are just as meaningful, if not more, than your online presence. A good balance is essential. Now let's dive into some different ways a woman might respond when there's emotional or physical distance in a relationship. As we've mentioned, some women might retreat emotionally, while others might try to reignite the connection. But there are other responses worth exploring. Seeking outside validation. If she feels neglected, she might begin seeking validation from other people, whether it's friends, family, or even strangers. This doesn't necessarily mean she's unfaithful. It simply means she's looking to feel seen and valued. Becoming indifferent in some cases, a woman may start to display indifference or become emotionally distant herself. This can be her way of protecting herself from further hurt. If she senses that the relationship is no longer a priority for you, she might stop prioritizing it as well. Focusing on personal growth. Some women might redirect their energy into personal growth, pursuing hobbies, career goals, or self-improvement. This shift is a healthy response to feeling neglected. It's about reclaiming personal agency and reminding herself that she can thrive independently. Host, conveying deep understanding. When attention fades, it's not always about the person themselves. Often the root cause lies in external factors. Work stress, life changes, or simply growing apart can all play a role in why someone may stop looking for their partner. It's crucial to understand that sometimes it's not about the person, not directly, at least. If you've stopped looking for her, it might not be because you don't care anymore. It could be because you're overwhelmed or distracted by life circumstances. Understanding this can help take the blame off of either party and allow for open dialogue about what's really going on. Recognizing the underlying issues and addressing them as a team is one of the healthiest ways to repair a relationship. If you want to reconnect, it's important to identify why you stopped showing attention in the first place and work together to rebuild. As we wrap up, remember that relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, thrive on emotional connection, communication, and mutual respect. When you stop looking for someone, it doesn't always mean the end, but it can be a signal that something important needs attention. Emotional neglect is never the answer, and the good news is that awareness, communication, and genuine effort can rebuild that connection. So, if you find yourself in a situation where attention has faded, take a moment to check in with yourself and the person you care about. It might be time for a conversation that will bring you closer together. On the flip side, some might start overcompensating by putting on a brave face. They might act like it doesn't bother them, but deep down, the emotional disconnect is hurting them. Now let's take a look at the flip side. Often, when a woman feels that you have stopped looking for her, she may also stop trying to get your attention in return. This doesn't mean she doesn't care. In fact, it can sometimes mean the opposite. It's a form of self-preservation. When she sees that the interest is no longer mutual, or that you're no longer invested, she might begin to emotionally detach as a coping mechanism. She might not want to show vulnerability anymore because she feels the effort would go unreciprocated. This is where the "why should I care if they don't care" mentality comes into play. If you notice that the attention is starting to fade, don't worry, you can fix this, and here's how: open communication. The key here is communication. Talk about your feelings openly and let her know why your attention might have shifted. Sometimes life gets in the way, but as long as you explain and show that you're still invested, this can clear up misunderstandings, reignite the connection. Simple gestures, sending a thoughtful message, taking her out on a date, or just showing her that you're still interested can go a long way. It's about showing that you care and want to invest time in the relationship. Consistency matters, whether it's small acts of kindness or meaningful conversations. Consistency builds trust and emotional security. It's the emotional glue that holds everything together. So what a woman feels when you stop looking for her is complex and layered. It's not just about attention, it's about emotional security, validation, and connection. These elements form the foundation of any relationship, and when they fade, it's natural for her to feel confused, insecure, or even itch.